You're watching a presentation on organizational culture made in collaboration by Adrian Lim, Sulaiman Hashmi, Amer and Junsu Kim. Organizational culture is a system of shared assumptions, values, and beliefs which govern how people behave in an organization, as well as its unique social and psychological environment. It includes organizations' expectations and values, as well as its written and unwritten rules and guidelines. These norms govern the manner of interaction between internal and external stakeholders. Every organization carries a system that guides the way their members would carry out their daily operations, solve problems, take action, and approach relationships. Culture is not usually immediately observable, and so a set of values are described to help identify, manage, and measure culture effectively. The main characteristics of organizational culture include innovation and risk-taking. This is the degree to which employees are encouraged to be innovative and take risks. Companies that have innovative cultures are flexible and adaptable and experiment with new ideas. Aggressiveness. Companies with aggressive cultures value competitiveness and outperforming competitors as opposed to being laid back and relaxed. Attention to detail. The degree to which employees are expected to exhibit precision, analysis, and of course, attention to detail. Organizations with detail-oriented cultures gain competitive advantage to companies by helping them differentiate themselves from others. Outcome orientation. This is the degree to which management focuses on results or outcomes rather than on technique and process. Outcome-oriented cultures are those that emphasize achievement, results, and action as the most important values. Stability. Stable cultures are predictable, rule-oriented, and bureaucratic. These organizations aim to coordinate and align individual effort for greatest levels of efficiency. It is the degree to which organizational activities emphasize maintaining the status quo in contrast to growth. People orientation. People-oriented cultures value fairness, supportiveness, and respect for individual rights. It is the degree to which management decisions take into consideration the effect of outcomes on people within the organization. Team orientation. Now, this is the degree to which work activities are organized around teams rather than individuals. Team-oriented cultures are collaborative and emphasize cooperation among employees. This will be our first activity, so please pause the video so you can match up the following descriptions with the appropriate characteristic of organizational culture. The degree of focus on outcomes rather than on technique. The degree to which work activities are organized around teams rather than individuals. The degree of precision an individual is expected to employ. The degree of emphasis on maintaining the status quo in contrast to growth. The degree to which management make decisions based on its effect on employees. The flexibility, creativity, and experimentation of new ideas. Competitiveness and performance measurements against competitors versus a laid-back and relaxed attitude.
Hey guys, my name is Amer, and today I'll be talking about advantages of strong organizational culture. We'll be doing an activity, and I'll be talking about disadvantages of strong organizational culture. A strong culture is one in which the core values are intensely held and widely shared amongst most employees in the organization. A culture's content is more likely to affect the way employees think and behave when the culture in question is strong. For example, culture values emphasizing creativity will lead to more innovation, and there is widespread agreement among employees on the importance of exploring new ideas. The advantage of strong organization culture can include helping define how an organization does things and shapes behavior in the companies, outlines a jointly shared description of institution within itself, and allows a shared awareness and understanding out of several people's ideas and interests. More productive. Strong organizational culture can bring dramatic, sustained increases in productivity and performance. A culture that deeply engages people is understandably much more productive. As the culture builds, people take personal responsibility for costs, and because the developing culture creates across the board improvements, increased profits are inevitable and large. Moral, motivation, and recruitment benefits. A well-developed company culture where people enjoy working and have broad opportunities for growth and creativity. Attract top candidates and loyal employees. Motivation increases in a strong culture that recognizes the employee's personal work needs and desires and allows people to fulfill these needs through the business tasks. Improve cooperation, teamwork, and relationships. Strong cultures enable increases cooperation, collaboration, and motivation as employees hold the same values, expectations, and norms. It also unifies employees with management. Increased marketability. Company, company culture is part of the brand of the business, and customers are highly attuned to their supplies cultures. An organization with a strong culture focusing on customer service will lead to higher qualities of service. Activity number 2. Now let's take a minute and think of a time when strong organization culture has had a positive effect on your work or study. Can't think of one? For example, perhaps you have had a class which really pushed for team exercises and study session, which lead to making new friends that motivated and assist each other. Perhaps you've had a job with a relaxed and fun atmosphere that kept you interested and happy, so you persuaded with friends to want to work there too. Perhaps you began to market that organization because of that growing interest. There are many advantages of a positive, strong organization culture, and they usually always affect you in some way. Now, let's move on and see what are the disadvantages of strong organizational culture. There are many benefits to strong organizational cultures, however, they do have their disadvantages. For example, an adaptable. Strong organizational culture can be a double edged sword. When companies with strong cultures are operating in relatively stable environments, their key processes and policies are often well matched to corporate objects, which tends to build in rigidness in the organization. If the business environment becomes unpredictable, they may have a hard time adapting to changing circumstances. When you strongly embrace a set of corporate values, it becomes difficult to replace them with something else. Employee resistance. Employee relationships from social systems and an informal organization that underlies the formal structure of small businesses. Should the overall organization's values and beliefs contradict the beliefs of certain groups, this can cause an internal conflict. New employee barriers. New employees that are also not yet in the tune with the organization culture may feel excluded and never integrate if the beliefs and values are championed too strongly and intimidated new staff. Cross-culture barriers. The organizational culture of a business may not translate properly when expanding internationally due to the ingrained values and beliefs of the local culture, causing conflict and dysfunctionality. An example is a strong encouragement and promotion of female workers, especially in upper management, and the conflicts that would cause in a country such as Saudi Arabia, where women are very limited to work. Now, with activity 3, I'll move on with my friend Junsu. Thank you.
Let's look into activity 3. Think of a time when strong organizational culture has had a negative effect on your work or study. Could it be backfire? Could it be hard to get accustomed to? Pause for a second and think for this activity 3. Now, while a strong organizational culture can have positive effects, there are downsides too. Can you think of a time when this has been true for you? For example, if we take the perspective activities example of a strong emphasis on study, sections, and team exercises, while this is generally seen as positive, there are students who will find this as a negative. If the individual does not work well with others, but excels in doing their own work alone, this could lead to overall unhappiness, demotivation, and reduced performance despite the well-intended focus on team-oriented organizational culture. Let's also use the other example, the fun, interactive workplace. If you enter a workplace with established social group, it could be difficult, confronting, and intimidating to enter those groups. Once again, leading to an unhappy and demotivated staff member that doesn't get the opportunity to understand and believe in the company's strong organizational culture. Now, let's look into a case study. To further investigate the effects of organizational culture in real-world situations, let us take a look at an example to startup that is looking to expand around Australia and New Zealand. Alan and Patricia began a successful startup 2 years ago, which has experienced rapid expansions. Their 4 offices are located in Melbourne, but they are looking to expand their company to other capital cities around Australia and New Zealand. They have instilled dominant cultural values to staff within their Melbourne offices and are keen to instill those same values in their new locations. They are aware of similar successful startups that fail to expand efficiently. Those companies' founders focused more on the day-to-day business of expanding, neglected to accurately shape the organizational culture with the new locations. Employees within the failed company reported low moral, lack of agreement about core values, and dysfunctional conflict over how business should be conducted. As a result, customer service sales and innovation were well below projections in the failed company. Let's look into next slides. How we can assist Alan and Patricia's strong organizational culture into their expanded offices. Now, before we continue to how we can assist Alan and Patricia's strong organizational culture into their expanded offices, let us have a quick recap as to why they need to do so. As seen in the similar firm that failed, there is need to look beyond the daily mechanics of the business. To successful, they will need to carry across their culture, which is following next slides, shapes how the company acts and responds, creates a common understanding of the business for its employees, and allows them to share their ideas, is deeply engaging to their staff members to ensure they remain committed, develops moral motivation by recognizing employees' needs and desires and encourage growth and creativities, emphasize cooperation and relationship to create strong team environments, highlights the core value of the business. For example, if the firm is heavily relevant on customer service, is it vital that Alan and Patricia emphasize in these aspects of the business?
Hi, this is Sulaiman and now I'm going to talk about case study recommendations. Now let's define how Alan and Patricia can establish strong organizational culture in their new locations and provide our recommendations. They can accomplish by attempting the following. Define a meaningful set of core values and statements that help define team goals and expected employee behavior. Put the company vision in writing so that everyone has the same understanding of what the organization is aiming for and how to achieve it. If vision is only shared verbally, then people have different interpretation. Train and teach the organizational culture. Providing orientations on expectations is critical for all new employees, as they should be informed on the ways things should be working. These ideas need to be constantly reinforced with regular formal and informal training. Lead by example. Managers should be leaders and especially in a startup organization, people work closely together and behaviors are slowly developed. Provided rewards and incentive. For those who follow company cultures and rewards should be in line with the strategies of the organization. So if the culture promotes teamwork, then reward everyone as a team, not as individual. And now I'm going to talk about the summary. So to summarize what we have discussed, we have defined what is organizational culture. We have described the main characteristics of organizational culture. We have also analyzed the advantages of strong organizational culture. And we have also analyzed the disadvantages of strong organizational culture. Have a look at the case study. Ellen and Potria's startup and provided recommendations for how they can take their existing strong organizational culture and use it in their expansion to ensure a healthy business. Thank you for your time, and we hope you have enjoyed the presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us. Thank you.